the Yamaha's R1M, the highest spec R1 with Öhlins electronic racing suspension with dynamic adjustment. The base R1 instead has fully adjustable KYB shock and an upside down fork. Like the R1, the R1M is compact with aggressive geometry, which is perfect for the track and fast road riding. The steering is light and responsive. At first glance, it looks similar to the base R1, but then you notice the carbon fairing, the brushed aluminium tank, which shout, "This is special." It's also got lighter magnesium wheels, but the defining difference is that suspension, which automatically adjusts damping to riding conditions. It's lighter, narrower and shorter than previous R1s. The KYB brakes are sharp and powerful, and the bike has huge, easy to use power. Like the R1, it has MotoGP derived electronics package, including riding modes, traction control, slide control, launch control, wheelie, rate of lift control. There is very little you would want or need to add.
Honda's given the Fireblade its first proper update since 2008 really, but for the first time they've dropped lots and lots of mass off it, they've made it lighter, and they've taken the engine, added a lot of grunt. But perhaps the most important thing is they've added a full beans ride-by-wire engine management system, and that's useful in lots and lots of ways. The first thing it does is it lets them add a sort of next generation of traction control. They can add on one of Bosch's IMU inertial measurement units. The stock bike's got conventional show suspension, big piston forks, balance-free shock, and Tokico brakes, and the suspension's got a supple and control. You know, when you're on the brakes, you know, you get a good feel for what the wheels do, how you're interacting with the tarmac. But the normal SP looks pretty amazing indeed, you know, just even with the slicks on there, the HRC paintwork, the gold wheels, Brembos, you know. Standard bike, just over 15 grand, and the SP almost 20 grand, you know. I mean, Honda put a lot of effort into this bike.
I've just got back from riding the new BMW S1000RR. The updated model's already been tested at the Monte Blanco circuit in Spain at the official launch, where it was blisteringly fast on track. Now, there are two versions of the 2015 model. There's a basic variant with 3 riding modes, race ABS and traction control, which costs 13,700. But for just over £1,000, you can get the Sport Edition, which is what we rode, and comes with electronic suspension, a quick shifter, heated grips, a seat cowl, and LED indicators. It's got a narrow tank which doesn't splay out your legs, and there's no protruding fairing getting in the way either. It all feels really compact like a modern super sport bike. There's very little head shake or movement under power, it just drives and tracks. You know, the new exhaust sounds amazing. If I was going to fork out 13,700 for the basic version, I'd beg, borrow and steal to find the cash to afford the Sport. It'll be easier to flog if you ever decide to sell, and the electronic suspension and gear shift assist Pro are more than worth the extra money. Welcome to Visordown. I've literally just got back from testing Ducati's brand new 1209 Panigale S. Now, the new bike may look similar to the 1109, but it's had some noticeable visual tweaks like a new wider front fairing with more aggressively styled air intakes, a new tail unit, a larger screen and a new seat. However, perhaps of more interest is the new engine, which is an even more over-square version of the last Super Quadro motor found in the 1199. So the bore size has been increased from 112 to 116 mils, which gives the engine that larger 1285cc capacity. Ducati claim 205 horsepower and 106 foot-pound of torque, so that's 10 horsepower more than the 1199 and an extra 10% of torque too. The new bike, despite the noticeable increase in power, is far more user-friendly. It no longer punishes rider error, and that change in feel comes from a slightly sharper steering head angle and a lower swing arm pivot point. Now, you've probably already gathered that I'm seriously impressed with the new 1209. You know, the gearbox was slick, the electronics package feels perfectly integrated into the bike, and like the 1199, I think it's absolutely stunning. The standard Panigale and the S models are expected to arrive in the UK in March, priced at 16,695 and 27,995 respectively. Kawasaki's Ninja H2 and the H2R have to be two of the most intimidating motorcycles I've seen in a long time. They're sharp and aggressive, there's oodles of carbon fibre dripping off the R version, and each is finished in a unique mirrored paint mixed with a layer of pure silver. Both have 998cc engines mated to a whopping great big supercharger, and as if that wasn't enough, the track-only H2R has aerodynamic winglets to keep it on the ground at high speeds. It's really nice to know there's a counterbalance out there in the form of a 240-mile-an-hour production motorcycle capable of physically taking off in 6th gear. The H2 feels compliant and forgiving, even when you don't know where the next corner is. Much of that is thanks to that properly bling candy green trellis frame and the fully adjustable KYB suspension that seamlessly intertwines composure, comfort and confidence at any speed. The H2 devoured its 6 gears as quickly as my foot could feed it upshifts. Near the 14,000 RPM red line, the supercharger comfortably breaks the speed of sound 6 times over as its impeller winds to 140,000 RPM, sucking in over 200 litres of air a second and then forcefully ramming it into the H2's 4 cylinders. Kawasaki's H2R is the ultimate thrill. Having tasted the madness of 326 horsepower's supercharged goodness, I genuinely feel sad about not knowing when I will again. The Ninja H2R will probably remain the most sensational motorcycle I've ever ridden.